Hello, my name is Shmuel. In English, it's Samuel, but that's actually not the correct way to say the name. Similar to, for instance, Moses, you're supposed to say Moshe, and Solomon, it's Shlomo. David is David. Well, anyway, for whom it may concern, I'm speaking here from the Holy Land, from Israel. And I would like to just say a few words about some of my thoughts about this week's parasha. You know, we Jews, we study the Bible, and each year we read the Bible again. So every week we have a few chapters that we read from Genesis until the fifth book, the last book, and that's called the parasha. Okay, parasha. And this week, the week of we're now at October, the beginning of October. This week we began to read chapter 1 of Genesis. That's the beginning. And I wanted to say a few words about my thoughts about this chapter, about the Genesis parasha. Well, we find after the creation of the world and of human beings, Adam and Eve, find themselves in the Garden of Eden, which would be at the location approximately of modern-day Iraq. And there was a tree of knowledge and the tree of life that were forbidden for humans to eat. But the snake spoke to Eve, and he was cunning, and he told Eve that they can eat the tree of knowledge and they're not going to die. They won't die, but they should eat. It's good, you know. And first of all, I want to say to all the skeptics and people who are scientific mind, I myself have a background in science, academic background. I want to say that you have to understand that a lot of the Bible is symbolic and metaphoric. I mean, you have to read some places are historical, some are metaphorical and symbolic, and some are both. And the wise mind needs to learn how to identify those places. And whoever wrote Genesis, it's a work of art. It's poetic. It's thought out. It's wonderful. And I don't think it's logical to think that he was talking about a snake talking to Eve, okay, and then a snake being punished and stuff like that. You have to you have to learn more, and you have to read more to understand where things are symbolic, because many of these texts are really, they have in them many layers. There are like anyway, okay, let's go on. I don't want to so they ate from the tree of knowledge, and they became aware that they were naked. And what does this mean? Well, actually, this is because at the beginning, human beings were like primitive. They were more close to apes, although a separate species because they could talk and they were separate, but still they were very simple beings. And after they ate from the tree of knowledge, symbolically, they underwent evolution. Okay. And they understood they were naked. What does this mean? It means their awareness and consciousness went up. Their social awareness and sexual awareness evolved. And this is actually evolution. Okay, and these trees, they symbolize our DNA and our evolution. So in order, so man and woman, Adam and Eve, they were punished and sent out from the Garden of Eden. And in order to guard the entrance to the Garden of Eden, God put was called La Tacher Mitapechet. It could be translated freely, loosely, I mean, to a smoldering, circling sword. Okay, and again, I don't actually think you can find somewhere near Iraq a smoldering, circling sword safeguarding some Garden of Eden. This is also symbolic. And my thoughts about this is this circling mechanism, smoldering, circling sword mechanism that can hurt, is symbolic of some mechanism in the DNA that reverses, because it's circling, it reverses something you try to do and can damage. Okay. It reminds me of like a mechanism of reverse transcriptase that DNA and RNA actually. And so I think that this is a way, and whoever wrote Genesis, this is a way to describe in like not primitive, but ancient words, that there is a mechanism inside our DNA that prohibits or safeguards the meddling in the most basic things. So the tree of life is, if you eat from the tree of life, you will live forever. And now humanity and many people are very vain. They believe they can, it's all technical, everything materialistic. You can just, put a little salt and pepper and, take this gene here, take this gene there, and everything, you can do everything. You can make well, first of all, it's not that simple. And second of all, there are mechanisms. You think that this wonderful creation, this unbelievable thing called the DNA, that it's genius beyond our even understanding. We think that it's just there without any safeguards, and no, there are safeguards. There's a smoldering, circling sword, and I think that if you try to meddle with some things in the DNA and RNA of human beings, and what you try to do, there's a mechanism that reverses what you're trying to do and can cause a lot of damage. Nowadays, we see that there are many experiments going around. First of all, in Israel and around the world, where humanity is being experimented on. And my warning is, I think we already have seen it, but it's being suppressed and censored. The sword, the flaming sword, will reverse what they're trying to do. And there will be a lot of damage to people, sadly. And so this is also, I'm trying to say also, be careful from this thing they're trying to do. And I want to give also a short note to those elitists and so-called elitists and technocrats. If some of you hear it or will see this video one day, I want to tell you that maybe you've convinced yourselves that you're doing something good, that you're, promoting humanity or whatever. Some of you know you're doing something bad, but some of you might think you're doing something good. But if that is true, why are you lying? Why are you censoring? Why are you suppressing the truth? Why are you suppressing human rights and humanity? But the most basic thing is I want to say about the truth. If you need to lie and suppress the truth in order to further some agenda, this means that something is wrong. This agenda cannot be good in something basic, because the truth is our most basic value of all, is the light. Is the light over our heads. It's the ground that we walk on. Also in the 10 Commandments, there is also a commandment against lying under oath in a trial. And you have to understand that 10 Commandments are very condensed. They are 10 commandments. So if there's a commandment telling you not to lie under oath and trial, that means lying in itself is bad. It's evil. And what I want to tell people is the lie is the unholy, the weapon of the devil, of the evil, of all evil forces in mankind, Nazis and communists and fascists and everyone who has ever done terrible things has always used deception and lies. That's the number one weapon. And the number one weapon of good, not weapon, just the tool, and the number one value of the good is the truth, the holy truth. And you know that the truth is another word for God in many religions, also in Judaism. So if you do not speak the truth, if you suppress the truth in order to further something, that means Zomer Darsheni. That means something is wrong. Even if you convinced yourselves that you're good, no. Think again. Reverse your thinking. There is still time to do good. There's still time. So that's a video, I guess. Bereshit.